My eyes like that anymore. Feels bruised right here.
Right by it.
Right now? Oh, I don't know.
That video on you?
What is that?
Go, Josh.
Do I need to hit this?
Camera.
Start?
It's already started. I started.
Oh. Sorry. Yep.
Finally, it's sharpened.
Go. 15 seconds. Doors closing. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Bell, you're out. Hurry up, Anthony. Taking too long, dear. You should be writing.
the definition of mean? Leah? Definition of median? Most? Most occurring. I'm glad you guys are adding that to it. Okay, most occurring. So our mean. What are my steps? Zoe.
And then divide by
Zoe.
You're gonna add all the numbers and then you're gonna divide them by 6 because there's 6 numbers.
Good. Add them all up. Divide by 6 because there's 6 numbers. Good. What did we get when we added them all together?
36.
38.
Divided by 6.
Few different things.
It's 7.
38.
38.
38. Divided by 6, what do we get?
7. 72.
Point three repeating. We're gonna round it to the nearest tenth.
I'm 6%.
So it's 6.3.
Simplify out here.
Okay. A median. What do I need to do first? Got here.
Order the numbers.
All right. Let's order them.
2, 2, 3, 9, 10,
2, 2, 3, 9, 10, and 12. Okay. All right. What's in the middle?
12. 6.
I don't see a 6.
3 and 9.
3 and 9. How do you get 6, though, Trent?
Because 3 because you could do it 3 plus 9 is 12 and that divided by 2 is 6, but I did it like if you add, if it works for this one, if you add 3 you get 6, if you add 3 to 3 you get 6, and if you subtract 3 from 9 you get 6.
Right, so what he's saying, so if I fill in the rest of my numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, there are 3 numbers on this side, 3 numbers on this side, and what's in the middle?
6.
6. Okay. What about my mode? Dalen?
2.
2. Why?
Because it's not much. 2 and 3.
Okay. Question. Alright. Gonna have a new title.
Wait, why do you always start your title on the right side and not use the left side?
Just look
Because
nice.
use our notebook much.
No, when you flip the page, I feel like you look at the right side.
Like you do this.
Like we don't write on the backs of our papers.
If you
I do
start
that.
and you go to
Well,
the left,
sometimes
you
when
look
we
at
have
the-
markers, it bleeds through some too.
I don't use markers.
It uses more. It uses.
Well, we do.
Measures.
Space.
Make sure you write the title. Measures of variation. I think we talked about variation a little bit. What does that mean? What comes to mind?
A variety.
Right, a variety of things. Okay. Vary. Okay, so write these words underneath that. Range, IQR, and MAD. Now,
What is
range, IQR, and MAD. Matters. Still not matters. I've got they're abbreviated. can't do those little brackets. You can just do like a squared off bracket or like a parentheses, whatever.
You gotta use a little bit.
Okay, so I went ahead and did you a favor. I went ahead and put the numbers in order. Whenever you get a set, make sure you do that first. Okay, or else it's gonna mess up the rest of your problem.
It's gonna mess up.
Wait, we're finding the mag, mean, and median.
They don't only, yeah, they don't only mess up.
So it messed up median, your IQR.
But there's two sets of two numbers.
There it is.
So it would be.
Okay. So we're gonna start with range. I wanna know the range of, let's say this is how many pets somebody has. So I took a poll from a class. They had 1 pet, somebody had 1 pet, somebody had 12 pets, and then I put them in order. I wanna know the range of pets.
1 to
So,
12.
huh?
1 to 12.
1 and 12?
1 to
Why
12?
1 and 12?
Because the lowest number is 1 and the highest number is 12.
Right, so range is kind of like the difference. I want to know the biggest number and the littlest number. And then what are we going to do with those, you think? Yeah, we're going to subtract them. That's how we're going to find the range. So the range for this set is going to be 12, our biggest number, minus 1, our smallest number. So what's the range? 11. Range is the difference. Remember, difference is subtraction. The difference of, I'm going to write 2 vocab words. Minimum and maximum. And what do I mean by minimum and maximum? What does minimum mean? Smallest. Maximum?
Largest.
Your biggest. Yeah. Okay, so your range, your difference of your minimum and your maximum. So I just subtract the biggest and the smallest.
Wait, so why do you have to subtract the biggest and the smallest?
Because that gives me a good idea of the range. It's like the difference between the biggest and the smallest of the whole set of numbers. So if I had 15 pieces of information and the biggest number was like 142, smallest was 3, they range from 142 to 3, so I would subtract them.
It's basically saying how much more.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's basically saying it in a short way. How much more is this number compared to, or the smallest number compared to the largest?
Right, we're comparing the two numbers. Keep it up. Come on. Okay. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to rewrite my numbers again. I'm going to space them out a little bit though. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 8, 10, and 12. Oh, there's one more. Oops. Well, I'm going to add a 3 up here. Add a 3 up there. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to be splitting our set up into something called quartiles. So write quartiles right below that. Okay, so quartiles starts with a core. What is it? What is it? Something I'm gonna say.
Quarters.
Quart. What do you think?
Four.
Four. Right. Four. Why would you think four?
Because quad.
A quad. Okay. Quarters. 4 quarters make $1. So quartiles means you're breaking this up into 4 equal groups. Yes.
There are 4 quarts and
I added it up there. I meant to add it up.
Wait, isn't there 4 quarts?
I added it up there.
Oh.
So
Isn't there like 4 quarts in a gallon?
split data into groups of 4. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So whenever you get a pizza, you cook it. How do you cut it first? Do you
Up and
just
down.
go in and you cut one little slice first?
No, you
cut it in half.
Right, you cut it in half first. That makes the most sense. So you're going to make it even. So let's do that first. Let's cut our set in half. Where's the middle of our set?
in between 2 and 3.
In between 2 and 3. So draw a line straight through 2 and 3. Right, we just split it in half first. Between 2 and 3. Okay, so I cut my pizza in half. Now, I'm looking at one of my halves, and I want to cut that in half again. So, look at just this half. If I want to split that in half, where is it going to go? Between my 1 and my 2, so draw another line. Right, I just split all of my left side in half. Okay, go to your right side. Now I want to split it. Where?
8 and 10.
8 and 10. Okay, did I split it into 4 groups?
Yes.
Are all of them even? Do they have the same amount of numbers in each?
Yes.
Yes. There's 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here.
Just like if you count the numbers, not
Take-
the
well,
amount per.
So I
Technically,
know I
the
split it correctly if all of the groups had the same amount of groups in it. And they do.
and 12 is technically 2.
Huh?
You
Then
have to put-
you split it wrong.
No,
But
like we're gonna get a power.
that doesn't work.
It always will, because
It
you
will,
create
yeah.
where the lines go.
Okay. So now I split them into quartiles. If I go from the very left side, I'm starting on the left, and I go to this line, how many groups did I see?
2, 1.
1 group. Remember, we have 4 groups. I went through one of them. This is our quartile 1. This line, that's our Q1. We keep going. Now how many groups have we seen? 2. Q2.
What?
We go over again. How many have we seen now? 3 groups. So that's our Q3. That's it.
Wait, what?
We have 3 quartiles, right? 3 quartiles is all we're going to have after we split it into 4 groups. Trent.
This is still confusing.
Okay, well, it's okay. We'll be fine. So, first, I have my set. I split it in half first. Are you okay with me splitting it right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I just look at my left side from where I split it, and I split that side in half. Recut that. Go to the right side, do the same thing. Okay? So then always, your first line will always be your Q1. Your second will always be Q2. Third will always be Q3. It's never going to change. So now, tell me, what number would Q1 be if it's between 1 and 2? What's in the middle of 1 and 2? 1.5. 1.5. What's between 2 and 3? 2.5. What's between 8 and 10? Careful. 9. Right?
2.5.
Yep.
And in between 2 and 3, 2.3. And in between 8,
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
And in between 8 and 10 is 9. So
It's just right in the middle of those. If I were to fill in all the numbers between 8 and 10, it would just be a 9 in the middle. So that would be the middle.
okay, so when
And if you're not sure just by looking at it and thinking what's in between 7 and 14, add them together like we've been doing with our median and then divide it by 2. So I could add 8 and 10 together and then divide that by 2 and I'd get 9.
okay, so if you gave us a worksheet right now and you said find the difference of median and maximum,
So your range.
the range,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave us another line, we would probably have to find what the different quarters are.
So those are different questions. I would ask you, I'd show you the set of numbers and I'd say, find the range. So for that, you would subtract the biggest number minus your smallest number.
Okay.
Okay, then you're done with that problem. And then I would say, tell me what quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3 are. And then you have to write them out, break it up, and tell me which numbers are Q1, Q2, and
Okay.
Q3.
But what if we don't have an equal amount of numbers?
We will do a problem like that.
Okay, so
Because that's where some people kind of get tripped up, is like actually splitting it evenly. Sometimes they don't know if they should draw it on the number or in between numbers. So we'll do one more. Okay. So, Josh, go ahead.
When it's actually a lot more long, like, let's say there's like 25 numbers, would you separate them into twos or like just into 4 sections?
Into 4 groups, equal groups.
Okay.
So it's not going to be 2 in each one because that would only be 8 numbers total.
6, right? Or 6 numbers.
We're going to do a problem in odd amount of numbers. I'm not sure. Okay. So I've got my range. I know my quartiles. What is my minimum? Remember we said minimum maximum up here? What would be my minimum?
1.
Minimum. Okay. What's my maximum?
12.
Right, my biggest number. Right. I'm gonna flip it over. Alright. Throw in a 8 there. So I've got 4, 8, 7, 1, 5, 3, 14, 3, 7.
You want to put this in order?
Yes, do that first. So let's put them in order. Okay, we're going to start with our quartiles. Like we said earlier, how would you split a pizza up first? In half. Let's cut it in half. Where's the middle of my set? What's the middle, y'all here? 5 and 7? Is that right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's not going to be 5 and 7. There wouldn't be the same amount on each side. Anthony? 5. It is 5.
in between 3 and 3.
Between our 3 and our 3. That's in the middle of these four numbers. So on this side, where's it go?
7 and 8.
7 and 8. Which one's my Q3?
7 and 8.
7 and 8. Good. Right, so my third line. My Q2? 5. So my Q1 is between my 3.
What would be Q1?
Okay, so Dan says, well, what would be between 3 and 3? 3. It'd just be 3. So, like we did before, if there's two numbers, you can add them together. So 3 plus 3 is 6 divided by 2. 3. It is 3. If your numbers are the same, it's just that number. So let's do Q1, Q2, Q3. Alright, we said this was 3. Our Q2? 5. We went through the 5. Q3? 7.5. Is that what you said, Lloyd? Alright? 7.5.
So
He went to the middle of 7 and 8.
So if this one that doesn't have the exact same, just put it through the line through the middle of the number.
If it doesn't have an exact center number like 5, you just put it straight through the two numbers that would be in the middle. Okay? So now what is my minimum?
114.
Minimum is just 1, right? It's the smallest number. Maximum?
14.
14. Alright. What's my range gonna be?
13.
Why?
Because it's
1 minus 14 is 13.
Backwards. So my biggest, my max, minus my minimum, 1, 13. My range was 13. Questions? Go ahead. How did I get 15? Oh, 7.5? So I looked at this side, right? Are you okay with where I drew my line?
yeah.
Okay, so the middle of 7 and 8 would be 7.5. If you don't know that off the top of your head, you can add them together and then divide it by 2. And get 15 divided by 2. Give you 7.5. Judge.
Okay, so if there's 4 sections,
Yep.
wouldn't we have to put Q4 as well? And also, would it be 14 or 15?
For what?
Because if it's, okay, so if there was 4 sections, because wouldn't we have to put the 4th one as well?
No. We only have 3 sections. Like if you added one over here, you'd have to add one over here. But there wouldn't be any information to use if you had one on the left side. So we just have the 3 in the middle. The 3 lines that break up our data.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about range. Now I have IQR. So our IQR is our interquartile range.
Okay, we'll move back to your seat. Okay, we'll move back to your seat.
Our interquartile range. What do you think of when you're inter? Inside. Okay. Quartiles, that's what we just did. Are these Q's up here? Where we broke it up? So inside our quartile range. What did we just talk about? Range. How do you find the range? biggest number, your maximum, minus your smallest number, your minimum. So IQR in a quartile range is doing range with just the quartiles. So Q1, 2, or 3, which one's the biggest?
3.
3. What's your smallest?
3. What?
Q1, 2, or 3, which one's the smallest?
1.
Okay, what did we get for Q3 on our problem?
4.5.
That's what we got for Q3?
Oh, Q3.
7.5 minus our smallest quartile, which was 3.
4.5.
So we got 4.5. That's all we do for IQR. So when it says find your inner quartile range, first thing you have to do is you have to find your quartiles, or else you can't do it. So then just subtract, always going to be your third minus your first. Because the third will always be the biggest number, first will always be the smallest.
Is the camera recording or?
Yes. Questions?
So,
Zero?
Like, why do they
Quartile, quarter, break it up into fourths.
okay, so once we do that, then like we get our biggest quartile, our smallest quartile, and that was 7.5, and 3. Subtract that, get that is the IQR.
Yep, 4.5 was our IQR. It's really not bad. It's as long as you can break it up correctly. I honestly think that's the hardest part. The math is really easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and write it's the difference of your Q3 and Q1. Alright? Thumbs up when you have those written down. Every single thing. You have what I just wrote down? Okay. Flip it over. And then I need some room. That's what it was.
Wait, how much room will you need?
Alright, I'm going to tell you my numbers. Write them down as you go. Ready? 0, 5, 11, 19, 7, 22, 23, 12, and 25. They're on the board if you missed them.
Really? What do you say? Focus back up, kindergartners.
Yeah, he really does.
Alright. Once you get those written down, you got a few things to find. Everything we did yesterday, plus what we've done today.
That was not real good.
You done? You stop staring.
many steps.
Yep, and there's a step on here you have to make sure you do before you can even do any of it.
I did it.
What do I want you to do first?
You have to break them up.
Before that?
Organize them.
Organize them. Order it. So make sure you do that first.
At the very top, you wrote NAB.
Oh, really?
What?
We have to do the mean, median, lowest, range, IQR, minimum, max, IQ1.
Hey, what does IQR stand for? Interquartile range.
I got it.
Alright.
Well. Miss Wilson, are you controlling it?
No.
Thing?
She is.
I think I'll just stay back here right there.
She's being really creepy about it.
I'll get your mic.
And then we can send the video to mom and dad.
Oh, can you?
We should start.
It does. That's pretty cool. Watch, she has a controller.
Yeah.
I hope. Because if it did, then RC car can stop us for life. This is gonna take so long.
Nope, no calculator on your watch. Alright. Stop cheating.
I mean, that's what I think that she said.
I'm gonna randomly call people to give me one of these pieces of information. I hope you have it. If you don't, raise your hand, ask a question.
Wait, okay, so, do we have to? One right here. Where do you have to put them?
Wait, so for like, first you have to find, yeah, so the line for this one, is right here. And this one will be here.
Wait, so we have to find the middle part.
That would be easier. So find the middle, and the middle is all right.
I'm literally on the brink. I didn't notice that. Oh, maybe you did. I don't.
That was Tuesday. I totally forgot that. Literally went out. It wasn't a big deal that day. No, you're good. I saw you.
No, that was last Tuesday. Good. That's really cool. I did it. Yeah. No, I got it. You're good. Thank you.
Wait, if since our minimum is 0, would we subtract that?
For range.